and I am proud to be building the premier lawyer and legal referral service for you. Black women are one of the fastest growing groups of entrepreneurs in the United States. Yet despite our hustle, it's been challenging for Black women to raise capital. Since 2018, for Black and Latinx women, we've only raised 0.64, that's right, 0.64% of all venture capital funding. That's why I decided to come to my community, the Justice Connection community and family. We are better off having access to solid legal counsel. It makes our community stronger, our families more secure. We're able to defend ourselves if anything should arise. It's important to have someone who can relate to you, understand your background, and is culturally competent to handle your issues. I started this journey because I was always asked for a legal referral. Kisha, can you find somebody who does criminal law? Can you find somebody who does family law? Sometimes it would take me hours, sometimes days to make that connection. And I felt like as Black lawyers, we were leaving our communities most vulnerable by not having a concerted network that connected us. And quite frankly, businesses and corporations who were looking to diversify their ranks didn't know where to go. I knew tons of Black lawyers, still do, and now I know more than ever before. I've been building this database from scratch since 2018, piece by piece, putting things together in order to ensure that we were making the legal matchmaking process most efficient and effective, utilizing new innovative technology to enhance the customer experience. Justice Connection is more than just a platform. It is a resource that you can go to for advice, for tips, to connect with the best Black lawyers out there. And so we're building this for you. It's important for us to be able to be competitive in this market. We need to get the word out by connecting with communities, churches, sororities, fraternities, businesses, local and enterprises. It's important for us to stay ahead of the game as far as creating innovative technology. We're set on utilizing the most recent artificial intelligence and natural language processing to make sure that the legal matchmaking process is efficient and effective. We're also looking to build out our team. And so brick by brick, we are committed. We are committed to bringing you solid legal resources and solid legal referrals. So I just want to thank you all for considering Justice Connection. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Subscribe on our website at www.justisconnection.com. Thank you to the entire team and everyone who's lifted us up in prayer and continues to support us. We want to continue to support you as well. We want to keep you informed in the Justice Connection family so that you know where to go if and when you need legal resources. Hi, Justice Connection family. Oh boy, I got to get that thing fixed. That thing is driving me crazy. The video and the sound don't match, so I apologize for the technical difficulties. But I welcome everyone this evening for joining. Here we are, another blessed Thursday, coming together to dig deep, take a deep dive into some legal insight. And so every week I deliver big time, folks. And this week is no different. So I'm so excited to bring the lawyer that we have for you this evening. But before we do, I want to do a couple of just touching base on some of the basics, right? Because we can never really go over the basics too much. First, I want to formally introduce myself, right? I'm Kisha Brown. I was in the video you just saw. I'm the founder of Justice Connection. It's the first Black lawyer referral and legal resource platform. So what does that mean? It means this is where you go to find a Black lawyer. Right? As the video mentioned, I'm a lawyer by trade, and time after time, year after year, from the minute I became a lawyer, folks would ask me for legal referrals, and I just knew that we as Black lawyers could do better being connected to our community, supporting our communities, advocating for our communities, defending our communities, and that's part of our role, right? And most Black lawyers take that very seriously. They want to be better connected to our community, and that's where Justice Connection comes into play. So it's all about being able to be your link to a lawyer and provide you that legal resource, trusted and confident legal resource just for you. And so I want you to, in the comments, to be able to shout out where you're at. Right now, we're operating in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, but we are going nationwide this year, y'all. So definitely let me know where you're tuning in from so that we can give you a shout out, and also keep you on the horizon, because it's important for us to know where to go next. Right. And just the other day, I got an inquiry from a woman in Grenada in the Caribbean who's interested. So that's exciting as well. So it's all about bringing you quality legal information, because the more we know, the better informed we are in the law, the more we can proactively, right, from a posture of confidence and knowledge, take advantage of the law, avail ourselves of the law. And that's critical. Right? The law is not just made for those who have money, not just made for white people, not just made for certain other kind of folks. The law should be for all of us. And having a quality lawyer on your side, I'm telling you, priceless, right? And it's not just for when you're in crisis. It's to be able to be that counselor for you throughout your life, whether it's for personal or professional purposes. So some of the things I want you to consider when deciding whether you should hire a lawyer is whether you're going to do it yourself. Time is money and money is time. Do you have the time to even do the legwork that it takes? And remember, when you do it, it's going to take twice as long, if twice as long, than it would for a lawyer, because this is what they're trained to do, right? And so oftentimes you're not walking out with a new pair of shoes. You're like, what am I getting? Well, what you're getting is this priceless expertise, right? That comes from years of training and applying the law, learning the law, applying it, and being able to be creative, to be intuitive, to be able to be insightful, to be able to be current, because the law is always changing, not only by the legislatures that change the letter of the law, but also how courts interpret the law. And so lawyers have a job to do even when they don't have clients, by staying abreast and continuing their legal education so that they know the law on behalf of their clients. So you got to know whether you have the time and the money to go and do this yourself. And not everything can be done by itself, right? Because let me tell you, you wait too long and the statute of limitations can run out. So you also want to check whether you're doing it yourself, whether, hey, is this case current? Is it possible for me even to avail myself of this in the law? Has the statute of limitations run out? Could be 12 years, it could be 3 years. It really depends on the issue. So another area that I want you to consider, right, before you hire a lawyer is this something that, quite frankly, affects your life and liberty? So many times there are crises that come into our life, and some strike us hard, and it could be criminal prosecution against us, which has jail time, and that's when you really need a lawyer. It could be a civil case, which means there's no jail time, but nevertheless, a big judgment, monetary judgment, money, y'all, could be at stake that you need a lawyer to advise you. So you really want to look at the type of case and say, do I want to risk this? Do I want to chance this on my own? Right? There's so many times when a lawyer can come into play. And like I said, not always for crisis. So one of the things we're going to talk about this evening is proactively thinking about your future, thinking about your legacy, right? So the attorney that we have this evening, Miss Katrina Baldwin, is an amazing attorney. She's based in Maryland, and she's here with us this evening to give us some legal insight. So Katrina, come on through, girl. Hey.
Hey, how are
How are
you?
you?
Oh, I
I'm
love the
well, I'm
introduction.
well.
That was wonderful.
Girl, but look, I don't really care to do the full bio read. So I will let you sort of introduce yourself, but answering two questions. That's how we'll do it, right?
Okay.
So two questions. One,
Mhm,
where you went to law school so that people can be like, okay, she legit, she went to law school, right?
mhm.
And the second question is why you went to law school, right?
Okay.
There's usually that reason, that experience, whatever it is that sort of said, hey, the law is my path.
Right, right. So I went to the Howard University School of Law. Yay! And I had a very exciting, stimulating, difficult as far as training, but necessary experience there. And when initially went to law school, I wasn't like saying that I had this mission of what to do, uh, or I knew I was going to be an attorney. Um, I I went because opportunity became available. Um, I didn't know what I wanted to do at that particular time. I didn't have a clue, and still working it out. But because of the advocacy in me, and because of the love for our people, and to help our people, it kind of manifested into a lawyer attorney. And so once I grasped it and I understood, what was taking place and how it was in me, that's when it kind of formulated, and that's when I kind of knew, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Didn't want to do it. It's hard work. I mean, it's a lot, it's a lot involved, especially as an African American. So, I didn't embrace it. I wasn't like really, really happy about it. The only time I was really happy about it was when somebody just kind of gave you some accolades because you were an attorney. But otherwise, I was saying to myself, "Oh my goodness!" But it's so vital, so important, and I've learned to embrace and to appreciate all that I've been through, the HBCU, all of the experiences that I have collected along the way to make me who I am now. So that's how I kind of developed into an attorney.
Okay. Look, I appreciate you sharing that because, everyone has their path,
Hmm.
right? And oftentimes we think folks are like born into it, like, oh, I'm going to be
Oh
an attorney
yeah,
when I grow up, And
right,
that's
right.
not for everyone,
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't just show up. It doesn't show up like that, and then not for me, and for a lot of people. I mean, it's not. While it can be magical as it manifests, um, it's still experiences and things that you have to go through to be refined to become the kind of attorney that I think that God wants us to be. Put it that way.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's a journey. It's a
It is
journey.
a journey.
Yeah.
Woo. It's a
So
journey. Enjoy
you've been
the
on this.
process.
Yeah, it is. So you've been on this journey for a couple of rounds.
Long
Yeah.
time. Yeah, in and out, in and out.
Yeah. So tell folks like what is it that you practice? Because oftentimes I talk about how this is the practice of law, right? And that folks we don't go to law school and necessarily come out saying we get a degree in real estate law, or we don't come out and we have a degree in commercial law, right? You
Right,
come out and you develop your practice of law. So
right.
what has been your practice of law?
So I just want to iterate that you do have to find your way. I find that a lot of times the community always focus on what's your specialty. What do you specialize in? And so I kind of fought with that for a while because while I had to quote unquote specialize in estate planning and estate administration. I focused on that because that was something that I loved to do, but also that was an area so that I was specializing. But in addition to that, I also I am able to do other things to help people as well. And so I wanted to also bring to the table that, okay, I might be an estate planning that may be my specialty. However, I still overall, and most attorneys overall are able to help you in most areas. If we can't help you, then we can find someone who can help you. So just because it has estate planning on there doesn't mean I can't read your contract for you. Does not mean I can't help you out if you're in a difficult situation. But one of the things I've been trying to do with our community is to kind of just open their eyes and give them a breath of fresh air about who attorneys are, especially African American attorneys. I mean, I don't want to say we can do it all, but we have a lot of skills and a lot of capabilities to help people, and not just in that one particular area. But to get back to your question, estate planning is what I'm focusing on most.
Gotcha. And no, you're right. I mean, there's so much talent, right?
So much.
Black legal community.
Absolutely.
And oftentimes, folks wonder, hey, do we do this or do we do that? And
right.
I'm telling you, as I'm, with Justice Connection and having hundreds and hundreds of lawyers in the database, I say, wow, we're doing cybersecurity, right? We're doing complex bankruptcy.
Right.
We're doing immigration. We're doing mergers and acquisitions.
Absolutely.
Estate planning,
every area. Structured settlements,
churches,
not just criminal and family law. We do it all. It's a African American attorney out here, but every subject, every area of the law, we are available. We are here. It's just not as prevalent, but believe that I say into the community, we are here. And if you have not connected with someone, we can help you find someone. I'm so excited about this because this is something I've been really I've been talking this story for a long time. And then I finally meet you, and this is the story, it's just like a dream manifested through you. I'm so really excited about it. I mean, I love being an attorney, but I just love sharing this information and let our people know that you don't have to suffer. You don't have to get the debt. You don't have to wait for the statute of limitations to run. You don't have to sit there and let them take your house from you. We are here, and you can come to us, and we are affordable, and we'll help you, and we love you, and that's what, I always wanted to give off to our community that, we're not so expensive that, that you can't afford us. We'll work with you. Now you have to pay. Now, look, you gotta pay something, but we're here to help you, so just to think that, there are no attorneys available, or the first person you call is a white attorney, that's no more. That's no more.
That's right. That's old.
That's old stuff, so, we're here now. And that's why I'm just like, I'm really getting so excited about it, because I've been saying this for a long time. I just, talking to people, and they've just been looking at me. I've been going to churches and just, and, they look at you, but now that things are manifesting, and now that you have this platform, I just want to applaud you. I know, I know you're talking to me, but I just want to applaud you as an African-American woman to take this step, to walk out on faith and take a step like this. This is monumental. It really is. It's not easy by no means. It looks good. Everything looks good. But we all know that there's a whole lot of sweat, blood, and tears that goes into developing. And you haven't even arrived yet. I mean, you're just scratching the surface. You got the whole, you got the whole world in the palm of your hands. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you that you're doing it. So, of course, whatever I can do. But it's the right step. It's the right step.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Look, y'all, this is real love, because
it really is.
It is. And this is so, it's so important for people to see, right? That there is this genuine camaraderie amongst Black lawyers.
Absolutely.
This genuine camaraderie of Black lawyers with our own community, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That natural connection.
Natural. It's almost like when you come in, when I do workshops, they almost, sometimes they put our community, put us on pedestals like, oh, she's an attorney. But once you
Mhm.
get to know us, we're just like you are. We had the same issues that
We
you
just
all
have
had.
more loans.
I'm sorry.
So we just have more loans.
And a whole lot more. I mean, the same. So, when you'll feel a kindred spirit,
Mhm.
and you'll know that,
Mhm.
okay, she is really serious. We can, she's about what she's saying, but she is one of us. We can trust her. She's not going to just do the minimum, get you the
Right.
minimum, but she's going to do all she can to produce for you and take care of you. Not only you and your family, mama, all of them. We're going to take care of everybody. And so
Yeah.
this is so important that our community, knows that hey, when they need an attorney, come looking for an African American one. It's that white is right, black get back stuff it ain't happening no more. So that was during my time.
Mm.
It ain't happening no more. It's time. It's just time.
Yeah.
Now I'm turning into a
No, we about to be at the end, just like, yes.
yeah, but you'll feel it. Our community will feel it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then it isn't just not the one. But for
Yeah.
most part, you will feel the
That's right.
connection.
That's right. No, that's so important to really drive home. So you talked about, um, protecting the family and being there for the mom, the dad, the grandma, right? And estate planning does that really
Absolutely.
also, right? It's
Mhm.
really personal with the family and really um, something that one of the most important things that you can do to protect your family. And
Right.
so, can you can you talk a little bit about like this concept even of estate planning? Because
Yeah. It's
we talk about I got a will, so I'm good. But when you talk about estate planning, you're really
right.
talking about even deeper than that.
Absolutely. It is a foreign concept in our community, and rightly so because of our history. But um, estate planning, it essentially is just a plan. It's just a plan that we work together on. That in the event something happens to you, you pass away. We have a plan that what will happen to your assets, wealth, what will happen to your wealth, what would happen to anything that you have. So that's what estate planning is. It takes your assets and it's a plan to distribute your assets in the way you want them to be distributed. So that's what happens. It's all about you and how you want your things to distributed in the event that you pass away. Now there are a couple of instruments that we use, tools that we use that are legally enforced that involves estate planning. And so normally most people have heard about the will. It's a power of attorney, and it's an advanced medical directive. And usually those are the three things that we usually start off that are simple, that we plan in the event that something happens to you, you may pass away, or you might get sick and you need someone to help take care of you, to make sure your bills are paid, things of that nature. So that's what happens.
Gotcha. No, so all right. So we have the ability to make a plan, right? When it
Absolutely.
comes to our estate, which is basically everything we're leaving behind.
Right. And no matter what you think so what happens is a lot of people think that they don't have anything. Okay. So that's why the first thing they'll say is, well, I don't have nothing. I'm just going to leave it to them to decide, which is crazy because whatever you have is yours and it's still valuable. It's a wealth and it's a wealth transfer. And so you might be fortunate enough to have a lot of wealth, money, house, or whatever the situation may be, property. But if you don't, you still have wealth. Whatever you have is wealth to you. So those things are important. And it's important that you put someone in charge, someone who is capable, someone who is dependable, so that they can take care of your matters. It's so unfair to your family to leave here without those things being taken care of because they don't know what to do. They're already devastated because you passed away, and then they have no plan. They don't know what to do. And that just caused so much chaos and so much trauma and so much unhappiness in that family. Whereas if you would just go ahead and do it, and it could be so simple. It's not, a lot of times, that's another thing in the community. People think if you're involved with an attorney, everything is so complicated and so hard. And it really is not. And if it is, you have the wrong attorney, because your attorney should be able to simplify things for you so that you can understand that. And somebody talking to you, and you know who I'm talking to. A lot of people out here go to attorneys and they just all this babbling and all these big words, and you sit there and you shake your head and you agree, and you don't have a clue, what is going on. And that is crazy. You don't have to do that anymore, y'all. We don't have to do that.
You can break it down.
That's right. We can go to an African-American attorney and break it down and keep breaking it down until you understand.
That's
right.
right.
And so ultimately what we do is we'll get a simple plan. For example, we'll pick someone to handle your estate once you pass away, and that person will take over and do whatever you want them to do. So I don't want to go jump ahead and get to probate. I'm trying to follow your lead, but those are the things you want to do. And also, as far as planning, let's plan in the event that you're sick, in the event that you may maybe you're having a very serious operation and you're not going to be functioning for a while, you're not able to take care of yourself, then we want to have those kind of documents in place as well, so that you can still have that quality of life. I mean, there's no need you sitting home, deteriorating, when you can have someone actually helping you. So that's we use what's called as a power of attorney, and there are different kinds of power of attorney. There's a limited and there's a broad power of attorney. But that power of attorney, if used properly, will give your agent, the person that you want to help you, the authority and the power to continue on, so that your quality of life will remain the same, and also help you as you go through whatever you may be facing. So that's very, very important. And then last instrument that I wanted to talk about was the Advanced Medical Directive. So that's another part of the planning. An Advanced Medical Directive basically says that, hey, in the event that I'm in a medical situation, I can't make those decisions. I have someone here who is capable, who understands what I want. And based on this document, which is legally enforceable, they can make decisions for me. So if you're in a coma or something like that, then that person will be able to go on and make decisions for you, so that you're not on a respirator for 100 years, or you're not in a situation where you're a state where you don't want to be in. So that's another document that we use. Very simple, very easy. And if you got those 3 documents, your life will be so much easier.
Yeah, no, it's really, when you talked about sort of the scenario with how it can be hard after somebody passes away and the family members and what do they do, I can only imagine that you have seen sort of the whole spectrum of what happens, right?
Absolutely.
What happens when somebody's got a plan and it's laid out, and you've also probably seen where folks are then scrambling and have to get you on the back end to sort of help with that. Can you share like some examples? Because sometimes we need to hear it to be like, Lord, I don't really want that to happen.
Exactly. And I know a lot of people probably have experienced it themselves. So you have a situation, I've had a couple of situations. Let's just say, for example, married couples, and maybe they're marrying for a second or third time, and they have property, they have a house, and maybe the husband actually has the house, or you moved into his, for example, you moved into his house, and your spouse passes away, and he has no will, he has nothing to guide or to lead you what you need to do. And then you find out on the deed of the house, of his house, that your name is not on there, and that somebody else's name is on there. It might be a past loved one, it might be an ex-spouse or whatever might be on there. And then you don't have a place to live. So this has actually happened. I had a couple of clients where they looked at their husband passed away, because the husband would handle all their affairs, and found out that they did not have their name on the deed. Particularly our older generation, a lot of times maybe the husband handled everything, and women were not privy to the administrative affairs of the family. And so when they passed away, they didn't have a place to stay, or it might be a situation where your spouse may have a bank account. And so because you have not put your name on the bank account, and it was just his name, you're not able to get that money, which you could use to assist in whatever transition or whatever plans you may need. And you'll have to go through the probate process, which is a whole other process, but you'll have to go through that. On the other perspective, I've created wills for people who have actually have plans, even down to their funeral, what they wanted to wear, where they wanted to be buried. So we plan like that, so that everything is taken care of, and even scriptures in the program, if that's what you want. We plan like that so that when things take place, you are laid to rest the way you want to be, laid to rest. Now, we've all had funerals. We've all been through funerals. We've all had, situations. I have a situation now where I have a loved one who just passed, and, they're calling the family members trying to take a collection, to bury a loved one, which is unfortunate. And a situation where, GoFundMe funds and all that. And you really, really don't want to do that. And you don't have to do that, because there is insurance. And I can't put my name on it. I can't think of the exact name, but there is specific insurance that you can purchase just for your death that will take care of those matters. And it's a very, very low payment, very, very low premium or minimum that's due. So you should be able to take care of those matters before you leave. Don't pass away and leave it up to somebody to bury you, but they have to find the money first. That kind of thing. That's just not fair. And it's not necessary anymore. We don't have to do that anymore. There's so many resources out here and so many things that we can do, that we can plan. It doesn't have to be big and elaborate, but there's so many resources out here where we can take care of ourselves before we go. That kind of thing. So that's so important. One more example I wanted to use. And that example was, and I think is so important, dealing with the advanced medical directive. Now, an advanced medical directive, I stated earlier, really dictates what happens to you in the event that you're incapacitated and you cannot make your own medical decisions. Okay. So God forbid that you have a situation, you're terminally ill, you go into a coma, or it could be you got into an accident. You got into an accident and you were hurt and you were in a coma, and there's no reasonable certainty that you're going to come out of it. It's so unfair to leave it to your family to decide when to pull the plug. It's unfair. And what happens is you have family members. You always have the family member on one side that wants mama to live forever. And then you have the other family member who wants mama to go because that's what mama said. And then you have that conflict. So what mama should do is mama should make a decision for herself. When she makes a decision for herself, and she has it on that document, and that's right there, it shows to the family, it says to the world, this is what I want to happen. Then when the plug is pulled, the person who initiated it will not feel bad and say, oh Lord, if I had left mama on the plug, on the respirator for maybe 4 more days, maybe the Lord would have brought her back. So they don't have to carry that, have that guilt on them. And then also the person who wants mama to live for 100 years will realize, like, okay, mama wanted to go. And so there you have the cohesiveness, the togetherness of the family as you go through this tragedy. So you all not fighting and fussing and going through all those changes. You can at least have some peace and some rest in reference to, what happened to your mother or that particular person. So that peace of mind is everything.
Yeah.
Peace of mind.
Yeah. That's right. People always talk about how, death sort of can bring out the worst in folks, or it's just a super tense time, right?
Right.
And leaving
very
folks
intense.
and leaving folks to make those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you said it's unfair, right? Not that it's just hard, it's unfair.
It is unfair when you can do it.
Yeah.
Where it's so easy to do. It doesn't take a lot. I mean, and if the situation where, okay, maybe you don't have transportation. Okay, well, I'll work with you. Whoever, they'll work with you. If you know how to use social media, or you know how to use the computer, okay, then we can do it that way. We can set it up that way. It doesn't take a brain scientist, or what they use, a doctor, or whatever they're saying. It doesn't take a lot to get it done. You know, I mean, it really is not that hard to do. It's just saying, hey, these are the things I want done. Let's get them done. And I mean, we can get them done in no time. It's not a problem. And there are even some documents online that if you think you have the courage, you could try to go online and look at it. I mean, you know, if that's where you are, I certainly would encourage you to talk to an attorney. But if you want to do it, because a lot of people do have those documents. I think Susie Orsman, I think she has a packet, you know, with all these different documents, all these estate planning documents.
Templates on the Justice Connection website, but really more as like to get people started, because I think, you know, it is true. Like there are some things, folks, that you can do yourself. Right. And then there are other things that when you do it with a lawyer, right, you do it at a different level. Right?
Exactly.
There are things that you just don't know about. Look, I'm a lawyer, and let me tell you, I'll be taking notes when I'm talking to folks. I've learned so much from these dynamic estate planning attorneys, and it's something that I feel like there's a reason why there's so many of the beginning of the first lawyers who are joining Justice Connection who are connected to estate planning. Like I feel I have never met so many estate planning attorneys
really
this year, and it is. There's a lot of intention and power behind us as Black people thinking about, you know, right now, you know, last year and everybody was talking about buy Black and, you know, going to Black restaurants, and buying Black is very important. Also, and, you know, part of conversations that's also trying to promote funding Black. Right? Because you got to put money behind Black businesses in order for them to grow. And sometimes we as a people are super generous. I mean, we give so much of our income to church and to our cousins and family members we're supporting. But funding our own Black businesses is something that we really need to do.
Absolutely.
And preserving our wealth and our legacy, right?
Absolutely.
So there's so many parts of how we build up a Black economy, right? It's buying Black, it's funding Black, and it's also preserving Black, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And this estate planning, y'all, is critical. So you can't be out there like hashtag and buy Black and you yourself ain't minding your own Black wealth.
That's so correct. That is, you know, you're a spot on point about that particular wealth, about the legacy, you know, getting those things together so that you leave a legacy for your family as far as wealth is concerned, and your community, your charities, Black, you know, so you can also do that through estate planning, and leaving your children in a better situation so that they can have your wealth, as opposed to letting your wealth be squandered, or you might not even be able to get to your accounts, your bank accounts, your financial accounts, because you haven't put things in order so they're easily accessible to your children, particularly if you have minors. You know, you want to put things in place for your child, your children or your minors, so that we can develop trust. We can have special trust for our community, or for our children or family members or whoever who need those kind of things, those kind of tools put in place to protect them and to make sure they have the best quality of life. That is so important. And leaving your property. So you want to be able to use these tools through estate planning to leave your property, which is part of your wealth, to pass on to whoever you wanted to pass on without any confusion, without any kind of conflict. That's very, very important. Your financial accounts, your IRAs and your bank accounts, things of that nature. You want to make sure those are in place and things are done properly, so that when something happens to you, they will automatically pass to whoever, and it becomes liquid, so that you can immediately go in and get that money to use or whatever you may need it for as well. So that's very, very important as far as transferring. Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the questions that I've gotten early on was related to what you just touched on, related to children and trust, right? So the person was asking about whether you have to, because trust just sounds like something that, quite frankly, rich people get. And so they were wondering, hey, how much money do I need to have in order to put a trust for my children?
So it really depends on the specifics of your particular case, okay? But this just be general. Let's just do general. And say, for example, what we could do is you can always put a trust in your will. So you can put a trust in your will. And what happens is upon your passing, the trust can be developed, and inside of that particular will, and you start the birth of your trust. What will happen is the particulars will already be there, and then you'll have a trustee who will be there who will develop your trust for you. So it doesn't have to be very, very expensive. There are ways to get those things done without spending a lot of money. A trust in itself, you have what's called a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust. If you were to create those while you were alive, they can be costly, but they can be, what's the word I want to use? They're affordable. It can be done. It really depends on what you want to do for your child, how much you want to leave, whether you want to, is it something where you want to have a trust where they'll be able to get it for their education? Is it just for their education? Is it for everyday living? Or it's really based upon the specifics of your needs that trust can be created. But certainly trusts are great tools, and they're just not for just rich people or white people. They are very, very good tools to use in reference to property, in reference to your children, in reference to taxes. So trust can be very, very beneficial, and they can be affordable. You can work things, things can be worked out.
Okay, thank you.
Mm.
One of the other questions was, how often should you sort of revise it or update it, right? So a lot I've heard often, and even in my own family, oh, we have a will, right? And
Mhm.
that will was done maybe over 10 years ago. And so is it every 2 years? Is it every 1 year? Is it a major milestone? What should
Mhm.
people consider when thinking about whether they need to update their will?
So there are a couple of reasons when you will update your will. Certainly, I would suggest every 5 years, you would look at your will and see what changes have taken place in your life. Okay, you want to do that, and then another reason why you would update your will is if there's been a major change in your life, major transition, maybe a death of someone, maybe you married again, maybe you had children. So we want to look at the major transitions that are taking place in your life to decide if you need to update it at that particular time, or certainly no more than 5 years. That would be the limit in reference to updating your will.
Great. That's great insight. And I'm just going to add in grandchildren as well. So if you have some
Absolutely.
grandchildren, right? Add them
Grand,
up in there.
that's right. Grandchildren, blended families. I mean, things are happening all the time. So
Right.
you
That
don't
one
want to.
aunt who tried to take it all, should she still be in the will? I'm just saying, question. I don't know.
Hey, and maybe not, and you might want to put something in there so she won't get anything. I mean, that's legal and it can be done.
Yeah.
So things can, it's your will, and we can
Mhm.
make your will the way you want your will to be, as long as it's legal, and excluding certain people or putting limitations into what they receive as assets can be done. Even dealing with your children, you might want to leave a legacy to your children, but one of your children might have a drug problem, or an alcohol problem, or whatever. I mean, you can create a trust so that you can protect that money and protect the child at the same time. So there are all kind of tools that we can use to take care of that.
I love the way that you just sort of couch that, because it's almost, especially this should appeal to control freaks, right? Like those folks who are like, I want to dictate
Yep.
everything, right?
And that
This is your
happens.
chance in
It
death
happens.
to still have the last word.
Right. Exactly. It happens. It happens often. So that's what happens when people die. You have that person who is thought they had control, or they were the patriarch of the family, or whatever. That happens. And so when you have those kind of tools already in place, you can rest easy and know that Uncle Pete can't come and run your family, or disturb the peace in your family, whatever, because you have already put these tools already in place, and Uncle Pete can't do anything. There won't be any conflicts. There won't be any issues, and things will move smoothly along. And this really protects the person who is not able to speak out, who might be passive, who just doesn't have that that courage to speak out. This will protect the children who can't speak out for themselves. You can already put that in place, even to the point, where certain people you might not want to be around your children or whatever the situation may be. We can do that as well. At least provide notification of that. So it's all kind of tools that you can, all kind of things you can do with the tools to make sure things are in place if you would, have to pass away, or if you're incapacitated. Or you might have a mental illness, a mental breakdown. I mean, if you have that situation and that's what's happening with you, we can take care of things beforehand so that when you're in your right mind and you're lucid, we can do that right then and there so that you can't be taken advantage of. No. So those are ways that we can protect. We can protect the vulnerable. I mean, it's all so many ways that we can do that.
Wow. No, that's so many different aspects that you gave us some insight to think about, because oftentimes this can be somewhat daunting, right, for folks
Very
to
daunting.
Wrap their heads around. And I want folks to be able to leave here encouraged and enlightened a little bit, and feeling a little bit intrigued, right? Like, hey, this is just the tip of the iceberg, and being able to go to an attorney and start to have that conversation. Right?
Absolutely.
Because this is to kind of get those juices going and those wheels turning.
Right.
Nothing like having that one-on-one conversation that
absolutely
you have with that client the first time, to really get to know that person so that you can best advise them.
Absolutely. You develop that relationship, and you have to treat people meet them where they are. And so you develop a relation with them and you talk to them. And I'm talking about, you have to be real. I mean, you have to put everything on the table, not harshly, not abruptly. Everybody's not ready for, to deal with their death, that kind of thing. And that might be possible, but there are ways that we can deal with while you're living. It's just different ways to approach that particular person, because, everybody wants to live forever. And it's a very, very sensitive subject. But just know that there are attorneys out here who understand that, who've been through that, who've experienced it, who, I go through the same thing. I'm no different than you. So you want to get someone who's able to meet you where you are. And a lot of times, I tell them, I'm here for you, not to be overwhelmed by it. It's like I got you by your hand. I'm gonna grab you by your hand, and we're gonna walk this together. When it's uncomfortable, or when you're having a hard time, then you let me know, and I'll pick up on it. I'll be able to pick up on it. And I might say, hey, is this too much for you? Let's do this here. Let's focus on another area. Or we don't have to do that now. Let's just do the basics. So there's so many ways to deal with those kind of areas, because it's a very, very sensitive subject. Black people, we don't, we old school. We don't talk. We don't say anything. We just kind of, get through it, but we don't have to suffer alone anymore, and we don't have to sit home and just worry about things anymore. There are people who will talk to you in confidence. Everything is completely confidential. You don't have to tell your spouse. Your spouse doesn't even have to know. Your children don't have to know. You can, meet me somewhere. So there are ways where I can just talk to you, as an individual, so that we can take care of you. You live in a home and you don't know about your house, or you want a deed, but you don't want your husband to know, then give me a call. He doesn't have to know anything. Everything is completely and totally confidential.
Yeah, that's a great point, right? Great point. This is almost like the unveiling after you're gone, and the process of putting it together is in confidence with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So take care of yourself. It's about estate planning is really about taking care of yourself, basically. You're worthy enough to take care of yourself, to get your things in order. And your family is worthy enough. And if you have some people you don't care about, then we can make sure that that's taken care of too. So it's a way of loving on you first, because you deserve that. I don't care what you have. I don't care if you have a hole in the wall. I mean, you can have a hole in your sock. I don't care what you got. You're still important. You're still valued. You have something. You have something. And so it's so important that that's taken care of,
I love it. We gonna end on that because the self-care point is so perfect, right? And I think there is a big effort amongst different folks to do more self-care, and this
Absolutely.
totally considered as self-care, not just the massage, not just the spa getaway, not just the, eating healthy. All those things are important, but literally taking care of your legacy and everything
Your
that you're,
legacy, your wealth,
yeah.
your assets. That's so important. So
Yeah.
you don't lose your house to tax. So don't let the state take your house because you didn't pay your taxes.
Hello.
We can take care of that too. Don't lose the property that you worked hard on all your life because your personal representative didn't know about the taxes or whatever the situation may be, and you lose your house for a couple of $100s or whatever. We can preserve what you have. We really can for the future, for generations to come, and then just build on it, and they'll learn and everything. So we can do it. We can do that.
Thank you so much, Katrina, for coming and just being so open and honest and passionate and
Well, thank
sharing.
you for having me. Thank you so much. I so appreciate it. I'm so grateful for you and just the opportunity. And I hope that somebody hears this.
Yeah.
And that we can help. This could be the beginning of helping our community. To begin to take on some of the benefits that have been created. We are entitled to those benefits too. It's not just for a certain community. It's for us too. We should be included in that. So that's so important. And I just thank you because you see how passionate I am about that.
I love it.
And I just so appreciate that. So, I hope that I just pray that God just spreads this far and wide so that it will fall on unstopped ears and that people will just, hear this and pass it on and that we could just, this would perpetuate to something really, really big as far as people just taking care of their assets and learning about wealth and learning about the legacy to leave something to your child as opposed to leaving a deficit to your child, leave a surplus. So that's really, really important. So I thank you so much.
Yeah, this was awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Folks, thank you
for tuning in. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I know you loved what Katrina had to say. Definitely check her out. You can check her out at justiceconnection.com/ Katrina-Mosby-Baldwin. But her website is super easy. It's mykmb.net. You can find her there and connect directly. And so we wish everyone a most wonderful and blessed evening.
Absolutely.
And until next week, we'll see you at the Black Lawyer Roundtable.
Thank you so much. Love you, Kisha. Take care.